Good evening, everyone. I'll call this meeting to order. It's 6:06 p.m. I'd like to humbly acknowledge the land we live, learn, work, and play is Treaty 8 territory, traditional lands of the Korean Dene, and unceded territory of the Métis people. For anyone in attendance, for public awareness, I believe we have, I don't see any councillors online actually. There will be a few councillors joining online. If anyone in attendance wishes to address council on any of the agenda items, please register before that agenda item starts to Legislative Services on my right side. First up, we have the report on QB 1505 Transit Collective Bargaining Ratification. I'd like to invite Human Resources, Public Works, and Legal Services to present, please.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, my name is Carrie Dow, and I'm the Interim Director of Human Resources and Safety for the Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo. With me is Tiffany Primer, Municipal Legal Counsel, Mark Geiser, Manager of Transportation and Fleet, and we are also joined virtually by Colin Fetter, External Counsel with Brown Lee. Before you tonight is a motion to ratify the tentative collective agreement reached between the Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo and Canadian Union of Public Employees, CUPE Local 1505 Transit Bargaining Unit. Bargaining commenced August 15th, 2024, and a tentative agreement pending ratification was reached after 8 months of bargaining. We received confirmation that CUPE had a successful ratification vote on May 8th, 2025. The nominal term of the tentative agreement is 3 years, effective January 1st, 2024 through to December 31st, 2026. Wages will follow the schedule of negotiated wages reached for the CUPE Municipal Main Bargaining Unit, which includes the 2024 increase of 2% and the remaining 2 years of the agreement to be determined during upcoming negotiations. Additionally, there were several key language changes negotiated that focused on improving efficiencies and creating more certainty in scheduling for the operators. This agreement represents 112 transit employees. I'd like to take a moment to thank all of the CUPE and RMWB bargaining committee members for their work in negotiating this agreement. That concludes the presentation, and we welcome any questions.
Thanks, Carrie. Do we have any questions from council? I'm not seeing any, so thank you, Carrie. Do we have any delegates to this item?
We have no registered delegates for this item.
Can I have someone make the motion? Councillor Weigel.
I move that the Transit Collective Agreement with the Canadian Union of Public Employees Local 1505 for a 3-year term from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2026 be ratified by Council.
Thanks, Councillor Weigel. And thanks for the second, Councillor Bunjogo. Does council have any questions, debate points, or comments? I'll call for a vote. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Next up, we have bylaw number 25/011, amendment to the outdoor fire bylaw number 24/005, and the OHV pilot project bylaw number 24/010, which is being presented for the second and third readings tonight. I'd like to invite Legal Services to introduce the report, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here this evening to recommend a bylaw that will amend both the outdoor fire bylaw and the off-highway vehicle pilot project bylaw. Currently, when the fire chief uses his authority under the outdoor fire bylaw and declares a fire ban for the urban services area, there is an automatic prohibition on operating OHVs in Abasand under the pilot project bylaw. This proposed amendment will allow the fire chief to declare both a fire ban and an OHV restriction independent of one another. This approach will give the municipality greater flexibility to declare a fire ban, an OHV restriction, or both at the same time. in order to be responsive to the specific conditions that exist at that time. This approach is consistent with the approach taken by the Government of Alberta in relation to the rural services area, where an OHV ban is not an automatic response when a fire ban is declared. It will help address the confusion that was created in the summer of 2024 when the province declared a fire ban in the rural services area. The province did not impose an OHV restriction at the same time, and so when the fire chief imposed a fire ban in the urban services area, which was accompanied by an automatic OHV restriction, it caused confusion about whether or not OHVs could legally be operated in Abasand. So this evening, I am recommending that Council consider bylaw number 25011 being an amendment to the outdoor fire bylaw and the off-highway vehicle pilot project bylaw for second and third reading.
Thanks, Caitlin. Do we have any questions from council? Councillor McGrath?
Just a comment, Caitlin, to you and your team. Is great that you're keeping us straight with especially, I guess, when we're walking into a summer again in Alberta, where we've seen just even 2 weeks ago, we were helping Boyle get to Lac La Biche and Sturgeon County and Athabasca. It was all in the matter of hours. So it's good to make clarity, because sometimes we need that stewardship and leadership to know when is right to shut things down, especially, I guess, anybody, but we're kind of sensitive in this area. And as far as the pilot program goes, I think it's great that the community is going to give it a go, because there's an awful lot of people out here that want to get out in the back country, and sometimes it's more of an inconvenience to haul a trailer like 5 or 10 feet, so that they keep legal. So it was good. Looking forward back. It doesn't seem like we get as many emails as well. I just threw the chair a question is, one time the clear cutting we done, back in 2016 became a bit of a dirt bike motocross, but we don't hear from them residents as much. Has that decreased?
So through the chair to Councillor McGrath, we have still received some complaints about that. I would say that in general, it appears to be more outside of the Abasand area. There have been a few instances in Abasand, but we actually had a successful prosecution under this bylaw in relation to somebody who was stunting in the green space. So it seems that the residents are working hard to follow the rules of the pilot, because it's something that, I think, something they want to keep.
And I guess a question that we get asked, whether if you're in the grocery store or somewhere else, when this is successful, would we implement it around other areas, like staging areas, like Thickwood on Signal Road? There's a place where when we were with Keanu, where we done the borrow pits for the golf course, there's an exit there, and then over in Timberlea, there's another outlet we used to use, but the course is is built on today, but to get out back on Tower Road, like, would it be fair to say we're going to test drive this new freedom that we have in Abasand, and if that works, people are compliant, then we could do some expanding of that?
Yeah, I think that's something ultimately that will be up to council to decide whether it's something that you want to look or want administration to explore expanding, particularly as we get closer to the end of this pilot project and are able to measure whether or not it's been successful. I think so far we're seeing some really positive signs that it is, but we've only gone through one partial summer season, so we're really kind of eager to see how this summer goes. One of the challenges that we have discussed among the working group is where we would move this to next, especially north of the bridge. It's really convenient in Abasand because it's a very insular community that has clear boundaries, and there's a staging area. So from what we've been seeing, people are being quite respectful, driving to the staging area as a way to explore the backcountry. So we're not seeing people using the roads, to just go on joyrides around Abasand generally. Mm-hmm. And so it when we look at where our other staging areas are, we don't have really any other ones in the urban service area. And so that's why, you know, as part of the larger plan in our region towards creating greater opportunities for OHV use, it's all part of that bigger picture.
Like through the chair, like when I look at Timberlea, I look at like we'll say the St. Croix Athletic Park, Eric Newell Dive Bar, like all that parking is basically through the week is kind of free. And out back of there, there's every artery to get to Tower Road, to get to you know, the corridor, the pipeline corridors, or it's just a good outlet to have for a staging area, because it wouldn't cost the taxpayers anything, and certainly it was our old spot back in the 80s. It's just now there's parking lots. It's just food for thought.
Yeah, and there have been, I think, some preliminary conversations that have been happening about what that would look like, certainly.
Well, appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor McGrath. And just for clarification, Caitlin, this year bylaw, what it will do will align our fire ban, OHV ban when in the urban service area.
Yeah, so our approach will be similar to the province,
Right.
and the fire chief can then call them at the same time, or he could choose to just call an OHV ban if it was warranted.
Right.
It just splits them up, so it gives us more flexibility.
Perfect, thank you. Are there any delegates for this item?
We have no delegates for this item.
Can I have someone make the motion? Councilor Grandison?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that bylaw number 25/011 be an amendment to the outdoor fire bylaw number 24/005 and the OHV pilot project bylaw number 24/010 be read a second time.
Thank you, Councilor Grandison. Thank you for the second, Councilor Boussier. The other councilors have any other question, debate, or discussion? Not seeing it, I'll call for a vote. Councilor Cardinal in favor? Thank you. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Can someone make the motion for the third reading? Councilor Weigel? Thanks, Caitlin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that bylaw number 25/011 be read a third and final time.
And thank you for the second, Councilor Walker. Council, have any other debate, discussion, or comments? Not seeing it, I'll call for a vote. Councilor Cardinal in favor? Thank you. That's carried unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have a report on Community Data Identification System Policy, LDI 010. I'd like to invite Planning Development to introduce the report, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, my name is Amanda Owens, Director of Planning and Development Services. With me this evening is Janelle Fleury, Manager with Community Services. The Community Identification System Policy provides direction to the Community Identification Committee on the naming of subdivisions, municipal facilities, and streets. It also identifies responsibilities of various municipal divisions, including working with the committee to oversee the process of naming, receiving, reviewing, and presenting applications, presenting reports with the committee's recommendations, and installing road signs and honoring members of public after whom a street or facility has been named after. Currently, the Planning and Development Division provides the lead administrative role to support the committee and receives, reviews, and presents name nomination applications to them. With the municipality's commitments to Indigenous history and perspective, regional heritage, equity, diversity, inclusion, a broader social evaluation of community leadership, contributions to local history, support for community initiatives, and community safety, It is essential that we have the right people at the table. This approach requires deeper understanding and expertise in community relationships, particularly in engaging with Indigenous communities, reviewing social programs, and understanding regional social dynamics and sectors. In doing so, Planning and Development Services relies heavily on community services and Indigenous and rural relation divisions for their input on these social aspects and components of naming. This results in duplicated efforts, inefficiencies, and delays. Therefore, the new amended policy before you this evening transfers this responsibility to the Community Services Division, who are better positioned to take the lead on providing support to the committee, aligning expertise and support for a more holistic and informed decision-making process. There were no other notable changes to this policy outside of reassigning the lead administrative role to the Community Services Department. Planning and Development will still remain a member on this committee. Administration recommends that Council approves the proposed policy before you to allow for enhanced efficiency, reducing red tape, and improved processes for naming subdivisions, streets, and municipal facilities in the region. With that, we conclude the presentation and happy to take questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Councillor McGrath?
Thank you. Through the chair, I know it's probably one of the best jobs you could have as a rep from council, because I've done it for quite a few years, and some of the people have passed on that were on that board. I'm just wondering, how long has this been with planning and development?
Through the chair to the question, I don't know the specific amount of years, but I believe it's been at least 7, 8 years, I believe.
So this would reduce red tape. It would reduce wait times, and it would give planning development more time to deal with the bread and butter issues.
Through the chair to the question, Planning and Development's role as the lead on this committee, we come from more of a technical perspective, whereas a lot of the conversations around the table surrounding who facilities or streets or parks or whatever it may be are named after require more conversation and understanding that's better led by community services through the relationships.
Yeah, and not because you're sitting outside of me, but we had a couple of board members, Mr. Bozier's and a lady, I wish I knew her name, maybe you, but they have an encyclopedia, you know, because planning and development done a wonderful job on, and just a shout out to Sush, because when you went to those board meetings, you know, the team, planning and development had just about everything there that you needed, so that there was no questions of who or when or where. We always had something. So I guess we'll just enhance that process, but it allows planning and development to like get the Home Depots going and maybe Franklin Avenue landscaped and stuff like that. So it's good all the way around, and there's no increased cost, just probably more time on tools for the tools we need for planning and development. Because I'd hate to see anybody thinking that we're moving it, because I think they've done a wonderful job with it. And like I say, it's one of the committees over 30 years that you felt you didn't mind going to a meeting because you were talking about local people making the difference. So appreciate that work, and I'll support that motion.
Thanks, Councillor McGrath. Do we have any other questions? I'm not seeing any. Do we have any delegates to this item?
We have no delegates. Thank you.
Can I have someone make the motion? Councillor Grandison?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the Community Identification System Council Policy LDI-010 dated May 13, 2025, as outlined in Attachment 1 be approved.
And thanks for the second, Councillor Walkwin. Does Council have any other debate, discussion, or comments? I just want to say I think it's a great thing adding community service onto it and keeping plan development actually as a part of it as well. I think it just might expedite some of the long lists of namings we have backed up over the years, and we hear from some residents. And I know we can't invent streets to put names on, but I think all working together we'll get it done. So thank you for everything you're doing. Councillor Cardinal?
Thanks for the presentation, Amanda. I echo some of my fellow council members' what's the word I'm looking for here? But anyways, I support the motion. I think it's a great idea that a lot of the work is taken off planning and development, and it's important that they keep up the speed with the requests from the public on planning and development. So I thank you for bringing it forward and addressing it, and I appreciate the work that you guys are doing. So I'll be supporting the motion. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal. Any other debate, discussion, or comments from council? Not here. I'll call for a vote. Online, Councillor Dogar and Councillor Cardinal. In favor?
Favor.
Thank you. Councillor Cardinal in favor? Thank you. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to item number, thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Janelle. Moving on to item number 3.1, Councillor's motions. I'll ask Councillor Dogar to read out his motion. Councillor Dogar?
Sorry, sir. Is it? Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for giving me opportunity. Is it? You see, I have to speak for. There are two motions. Which motion? Sorry, can you make me remind, sir?
Your motion for the CEO performance evaluation.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now I recall. You see, once
Councillor Dogar, you need to read the motion.
I don't have any write-up. I just have to speak from my own words.
Do you have an agenda? Do you have an agenda package?
No, I don't have any.
That's fine. I could read his motion for him if I can support there.
No, we're going to we'll try to get it to Councillor Dogar so he can read it.
No, sir, I do not have anything to read.
We're trying to get it to you, Councillor Dogar. Did you send it to him?
I think
Jade has sent it to you, Councillor Dogar.
Yeah, I think though the Dogar is having a little bit of issues. He doesn't have two screens in front of him, so he's having issues with technicalities with some of the stuff that's going on. So if you can't read it and he's having issues,
yeah, we just sent it, Councillor Cardinal. Jade has sent it to him. She texted to you, Councillor Dogar. There you
go. There is one email. I speak out.
Yes, just read the motion, please.
Thank you. Council review in closed session the evaluation and the administration evaluation policy to support the Municipal Government Act.
Do you want to read that again, Councillor Dogar? Just start out with the beginning of it. I don't think we got it all.
Mr. Mayor, the picture is deleted from both arms, so it's feeling a little difficulty.
Mayor, can I suggest we move to the next item and then give Dogar a little time to maybe coordinate with Jade? Thanks.
I would request Jade to, can you type it, email and send it to me? Thank you.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to item 3.2 until Councillor Dogar can get a chance to look up the agenda item he's on. This item is 3.2 Gregoire Fire Hall demolition. So I'll ask Councillor Cardinal to read out his motion.
I got to go through the same thing here? No, okay. Councillor Cardinal, make motion that administration be directed to demolish the old fire hall located in Gregoire and utilize the property for future development.
Thank you. And thanks for the second, Councillor Walkwin. Councillor Cardin, do you want to speak to your motion?
I do. I just brought this motion forward, coordinating a little bit with the CAO, as well as just getting in tune with our asset management plan that we got going on, and hope that I can get the support to get it done, and hopefully we could develop something in the area. I know that there's asbestos and stuff in there, so I feel that we could utilize the space if it's not being used, as well as some of our assets that we have, and pulling them all together. Hopefully this engages in some of the asset management planning that we have in place, and get the ball rolling. So hopefully I can get support from council and move forward with this little initiative, and if we can get something done. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal. Do we have any delegates to this item?
We have no registered delegates for this item.
So does council have any questions of Councillor Cardinal? Councillor Weigel? Oh, shut off, Kazoo.
Can I ask questions of administration right now, or just Councillor Cardinal?
You can, anybody.
What is the current plan for the fire hall?
Through the chair to Councillor Weigel, the fire hall currently is not being utilized at all. So I do have a few comments to make on, just to give council some context to it.
Please.
Yeah, it has not been in use since, but has not been an operational fire hall since my time, and I got here in 2001. It was part of a larger plan to the new fire hall in Hall 5, which we currently have, and came into 2012, I believe, here and there. The current building is not being used at the moment. And yes, it was built in the late 70s, early 80s, and I can make an assumption that there's those asbestos stuff that belongs in that. But I will say that we did some research on it, and it's located in Gregoire Drive. If you're not familiar where that is, the tax assessment value is $1,567,560, and with the estimated tax value of the property without the facility is $1,111,385. We did a quick snapshot of the motion to demolish. We're estimating about $400,000 to demolish that building as it is, and so I guess what's up for council's consideration, we currently don't have any use for it. It has went around the organization looking for uses of it with the current building. But I'll say that, demolishing the building and sell the property, the municipality would spend $400,000 to demolish and realize about $1.1 million in the property sale, with a total gain of $700,000. Keeping the building as is, rezone the property and sell the property as is, the municipality would, as I'd said, would probably gain $1.5 million with this option, and offers the least risk to the municipality. So I'll leave that.
I guess, thank you for that, CO, but do you think that there's an appetite to buy a fire hall? Like when you say it's zero risk or a little risk, would there be an appetite to buy a fire hall by anyone out there?
Through the chair to Councillor Weigel, let's just not use a fire hall. It's got 2 bays, it's got living quarters and an office space in the back. It's got a backup generator.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Weigel. Councillor Boussier?
I think Councillor Dogar's hand was up, unless he took it down before mine. No? Okay. I guess through the chair, just to follow up, Councillor Weigel, back to Butts, CO Butts. There was a motion brought forward, I think last summer, on bringing back a plan for some of our underutilized assets. So before I support Councillor Cardinal's motion, I'd like to see that. And I mean, we haven't had anything back. I don't know what's the holdup. There's 4 lots down in McLeod and McIver that have been sitting vacant forever. It was just, the motion was to try to figure out what we're going to do with the assets or bring them back. So just to go demolish an asset that I think there may be some, I know one person's interested in it. It's not me, but in the fire hall. So I guess do we have a timeline when it's like, I think 8 or 9 months now?
Yeah, through
That
the
was
chair,
before your time, sorry, Chief.
yeah, no, through the chair to Councillor Bousset, something we will take a priority on. I appreciate it's been taking that long, and I'll take that, make that a priority on myself to have that back to council.
Okay, I guess then through the chair, I would ask Councillor Cardinal if he would hold off until the asset management plan comes back with some form of recommendation on our assets. There's a Gregoire Fire Hall, there's at least 4 lots, there's a building out at Anzac, brand new, that we built it. Yeah, so I don't know if Councillor Cardinal's.
So, Councillor Cardinal, did you hear Councillor Bousset?
Yeah, I did. If that works a little better, I'm sure. I just figured that this would gain some momentum. So if it has, job is done, and we could bring it forward again. I got no issue with that, but I'd like to see some stuff happen with our assets, and that's why I brought this forward.
So with that, Councillor Cardinal withdrawn the motion, and we'll bring it back once we have an asset management plan put forward. I don't know if.
Well, we already had an asset management plan put forward, just that there was no friction on it and reports done back to council. So,
right, that's what we're saying when that comes back.
But I'd like to have a timeline on something this important, because we've been waiting 8 to 9 months, like Councillor Bousset had said, and I want to know in at least 30 days or something.
Through the chair to Councillor Cardinal, I will do my best to, recognizing that council's breaks for summer, I'll try to have that before the last session, I think in July 8th.
Yeah, I think it'd be very nice if we could see all that. At least we know for break, and as well as for the next council, what our assets are, and what we're doing with them. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal. With the motion being withdrawn, Councillor Benjoko, Councillor Dogar, do you have anything else to add? The motion's been withdrawn.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing more.
Can I add one more?
Yeah, go ahead, Jody.
Just one more comment, and I will say that if it might be, the report might be sitting there, and so if it is, we'll bring it back as quickly as we can.
Thanks, to CEO.
Mayor, can I maybe kind of request each asset management response that we're going to get be categorized by wards, please, and thank you.
Through the chair to Councillor Cardinal, we can certainly make that happen. I can't see why not.
Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal. Councillor Dogar, are you prepared to read your motion now?
Yes, yes, sir, I'm ready to.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. The motion is that council review in closed session the 2024 CO performance evaluation, and that administration bring forward a CO performance evaluation policy to support the requirement of section 2051 of the Municipal Government Act. You got it? Should I speak for something about it?
No, you're okay. Just 1 second. And thank you for the second, Councillor Bousset. Go ahead, Councillor Dogar, you can speak to your motion.
Thank you, everybody. This motion was drafted, long time back. It is annual review. Annual review should have been completed in 1 year. The 1 year of Henry Hunter was completing in November 2024, but it has been delayed by 4 or 5 months. I don't know why I was back in my back country. So I have a point that it should be completed by completion of 1 year. That is my point of view. Now the wording says go to in camera or bring forward a policy. Yes, we should have a policy for that. Now I want your views over it. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor Dogger. And I completely agree that a policy in place would definitely be something that we need. It would assist the mayor at the time to put that forward. As our previous times, we've got them from municipal affairs, but I think if we had a policy in place that all council agreed on and put forward, and that came through each year, so I definitely support you on this. I think it's a great motion to bring forward, so I'll thank you, Councilor Dogger. Do you have any other questions? Any delegates to this item?
There's no delegates for 3.1. Thank you.
Thanks. Do we have any other questions for Councilor Doga or debate points? Councilor Benjoko?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman, and thank you, Councilor Doga, for this motion. The only question and of course I support this, but the question I have is the 2024 CAO performance evaluation. Are we looking at the current, whatever evaluation policy we have at the moment, but not retroactively reviewing the performance of the CAO of 2024? That's where I have some questions.
Yeah, I think, and read the first line as well. We don't have a policy right now, so this would make a policy that mayor and council would follow. And I think we already did the performance evaluation for 2024. That was already completed.
We did that.
And I believe
already.
almost everybody was in attendance for that.
Yes.
That evening. So that was done. That portion was done in camera, so that's done. Okay. And as Councilor Dogard mentioned, having a performance evaluation policy that supports the requirements of Section 205.1 Municipal Government Act, I think that's something would be great to have to go back to. Okay. So each year we can go to that policy. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel each time. And it's something council agrees on, we can move forward with.
Okay, and I believe administration already started meeting with us to review whatever you have in place.
That's the CEO bylaw. That's a different one.
Okay. That's
the CEO bylaw that Councilor Boussier brought forward.
Yeah, I also talked a bit about the performance.
Yeah.
So those were the things that I need, some gray area between the performance portion and the complete CAO bylaw.
Yeah, it should align, definitely. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council?
This is not debate, right? Am I clear? This is not debate, eh, Mayor?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it is debate?
Yeah, because the motion was already made. Once the motion's on the floor, you can debate.
I just want to give 2 thumbs up to the Councillor Dogar for bringing this motion forward and how important it is to work together and get these kind of things done, because I never thought about it. And I want to say I appreciate Councillor Dogar for bringing it forward, and means a lot to have him on the council. So thank you very much. And I support the motion and look forward to seeing it utilized as quick as possible. Thanks.
Do we have any questions, comments? CEO Butts?
Yeah, thank Mayor Bowman. For council and public's awareness, the Municipal Government Act requires the council must provide the CAO with an annual written performance evaluation. I want to make sure that that's in your minds as you decide on the motion. The MGA does not prescribe how performance evaluations are conducted, though. That's the point here. And the way in which evaluations are completed vary across Alberta. We did a scan, and some have policy including whether evaluations are completed with the support of external parties. We have also seen the CAO performance evaluation outlined in a CAO bylaw, which as you're aware, we're working on at the moment. And municipal associations like the Alberta municipalities also have toolkits available. All that to say that there are options should council wish to pursue this, and I'll stop there. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, CEO Butts. Councilor McGrath?
Thank you, Chair. Just an observation. Dogar, you brought this motion forward. The last time I brought it forward was about this time last year, and we had lawyers flown in from Calgary and by the time, we never even got to think about the motion because by the time we got finished internally, we were scared externally. So, and I don't think this is a slight to the CAO because as Lance, I think, served with me in 13, we never had any employee evaluations. We never had, council wasn't recognized on the org chart. So we're making good headway. And this is not about taking any power away from the CAO, because I think that sometimes we're here to assist the CAO with the tools of governance and lobbying the different levels of government. So I think this is part of an institution that needs correctional change, and the only way to get that change is to start with amending the CAO bylaw, because they need our input. Because we're elected to look after not just the purse, but look after safety. And some of the examples that we've had in the last decade speak for itself why they need to be adjusted. So I don't see any heroism in this. I think it's just we're getting caught up because we have Power 9 corporations that have just drawn from this community. And if council don't get involved, we'll have another couple of incidents where we're dealing with what we're dealing with now. And that's what happens when you take your authority that you're elected to do. You can get on Facebook all day long. It doesn't make a difference. But what makes a difference is to make sure that we have a safe streets for kids, safe streets for the elderly, and to make sure that we respect our Indigenous partners and Métis partners. And some of that should be written in the bylaw that we actually govern and we go there and hold our council meetings like we did in the past. So I think this is a good thing, Mayor Bowman. And like I said, there's no heroism. I think it's just a collaborative approach. There's no slight to our intern or the guy before him. It's just that without us knowing, we gave away a lot of our authority. And that to me was abused. So I think this is a correction line. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councillor McGrath. Councillor Cardinal?
Oh, I must put my hand back up, sorry.
No problem, Councillor Cardinal. Councillor Granson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I agree with Mr. McGrath in terms of the respect and stuff, but I wonder, can we put it in the onboarding or something so that council actually does it? Because, you know, the last council, from what I was told from HR, we had about 30% of council actually responded, and we didn't have 100% in the last one either. So evaluation is useless if we don't actually do it. So just my thoughts.
Yeah, I think that would be great to have in there that it's a mandatory for all council to participate. Thanks, Councillor Granson. Any other questions, comments, or debate points from council? I'm not seeing any. Councillor. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Councillor Cardinal.
So I just had a comment about your comment. So are you gonna? So is that going to be brought forward to the CAO bylaw, or is it going to be something that we bring back as a council to add to that bylaw? Because you just said that 100% of council's ratification for the CAO bylaw.
No, I think what Councillor Granson was referring to, and Councillor Granson can correct if I'm wrong, is just doing the CEO evaluation. Like the policy that Councillor Dogar is bringing forward is that there's an actual policy for a CEO evaluation. So when council gets that evaluation, that they all complete it.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal. Councillor Dogar, do you have any closing comments?
You see, my closing comment is thank you for giving the opportunity. Is the same that it's the most important post in the entire RMWB, around whom the entire municipality and the councils revolve around. You know, it should be taken very seriously. And if possible, you know, that is a later stage, that monthly, you know, interim report should be given and submitted to mayor office and in the end of the year. So those monthly reports or marking system should be calculated so that, you know, suddenly something, you know, personal liking, disliking should not prevail. I've seen that councillors giving full marks and suddenly saying that, no, they should be out. You know, such like practices should not be there. Anyhow, I thank you very much for putting input to the motion, and it's a very important motion. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Dogar. So I'll call for a vote. In favor online? Councillor Dogar in favor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Councillor Cardinal in favor? Thank you. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to item 3.3, safeguard for repercussions policy. I'll ask Councillor McGrath to read out his motion, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just going to find her in the right place. You got it ready? Thank you, Funky. Always nice to be sitting outside you. Your support is unwavering. I move that administration bring forward a policy that safeguards all Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo employees from any repercussions when reporting instances of non-compliance with municipal policies, procedures, or processes, especially in situations where non-compliance action results in negative mental, financial, or physiosocial consequences for staff or members of the public. That this policy will apply to all staff, including exempt, union, frontline, leadership, permanent, part-time, casual, or contractors. And if I may, Mr. Mayor, I'll elaborate on this. That the policy will allow for reporting to be made directly to any member of council or mayor, and that the mayor's omitted there, but not on purpose. It should be a mayor. If somebody could be okay with that friendly amendment.
Only amendments add mayor. Thank you. And that's been seconded by Councillor Boussier. And I'll let you speak to your motion, Councillor McGrath.
I'm going to make it short. In 2021, I reported some wranglings of a bonus that was given out to 17 municipal staff. That went under somebody's desk. The election happened, and was forgotten about, and I bought it back. And it took some wheels. And as it turned out, we had a bonus that was handed out to staff, and some of the staff weren't comfortable taking it. But they had had signed a non-disclosure agreement, which is unheard of in our lives. They had to sign a non-disclosure to say they couldn't talk to anybody about their bonus, and that it was okay. You couldn't talk about it. But after looking back, what it should have done would have been a better servant of the public. At that time, I did go to the mayor, but they shrugged it off. And we were the best of partners, that's for sure. But I knew it was wrong, because if you got to sign a non-disclosure about a bonus, and you're a public entity, that's the first flag. And we had our own legal working on it. And when I bought it up, shortly after, about the same time the second advance came, I got a complaint put against me, and which is fine, I'm dealing with it. But I want this place to be free of discrimination, of intimidation. And me and Lance Boussier and Sheldon Germain started a councillor's corner here in 14 to deal with these discrimination. And out of that Mike came faithfully for his donuts and coffee and torment us, but you kept us safe and you kept us honest, right? You came with good ideas. And some of them ideas we took, hey Lance, we took, and we looked after the seniors and kids, and we made good way for the new Canadians that worked here. And out of that, there's a report, the Myers-Penny-Moore report. There's still 8 items today, 12 years later, that are still on there. You know, the work we need to do with our Indigenous communities, the work we need to do with our new Canadians and the employees. So all I'm asking is, rather than get faced again with something that happened during the bonus, we had employees that didn't feel right. They still don't feel right, but they weren't allowed to talk to anybody. So I think Mayor Bowman, looking back at your campaign, you had an open door policy. And you still have an open door policy. But I think people need to know that work for the city, no matter if you're black, brown, yellow, green, or white, everybody's treated in the same sight. And when you have what we had as Bonus Gate, It was brushed over like nothing. But that, to me, ruins the integrity of the organization. And they should have an open door to any council member. And I'm not saying that we're going to go investigate anything, but when you have a legitimate complaint come by a staff member that feels intimidated, and then you have people on the 7th floor saying derogatory things about a member of council because they bring these issues up. I have a sane mind, but I also manage 2,000 people. So I know what a $1 billion budget looks like, but I also know what's right and what's wrong. You can imagine being an employee at the city at that time, sitting down in front of one of the lawyers and signing a paper saying, I'm going to take 50 grand. We canceled the Christmas parade this year, but I'm going to take your 50 grand. I done lots of work this year, but we never had a council meeting. But I'm getting at making sure this place is safe for every employee. And if we need to go out and find like the integrity commissioner, the last one, I wouldn't hire him to take my groceries away. But it should be somebody from like Commissioners Canada. We have so many people, Legionnaires. We have so many talented senior citizens that work for big industry. So many Indigenous leaders that work for big industry that are retired in this region. And maybe that's the outlet. But we need to fix what's broken. And really what's broken is the system of reporting. It's no more than a scapegoat. When a councillor does his job here, administration going to go get you. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So myself, I would like to see something come back to council. And I would say, because we only have one CEO, and that's the boss. People got it all mixed up. The CEO is the boss. He or she represents council. So I think that first off, the mayor should be your first point of contact. It's no different than when I was being a trustee for 17 years. If somebody called about a principal, the first reaction, talk to George, talk to Kim, talk to Dan. And now that you got the respect of that org chart, well, our CEO will know what's going on, but our mayor will too. So when somebody's not getting treated right as an employee, they're heard. And boy, I tell you what, we never made up stories, because if anybody would go back and open up the book on the report that's not finished yet, we were talking about doing another report. Then I heard the councillor kick back, but what the councillor didn't know was this. We were at it since 2014, and there's still some of them recommendations being worked on. So if they took the time, rather than try to chastise people in public, maybe the guy that served 30 years got an idea what's right and what's wrong. And maybe the idea that this guy spent a lot of time in trouble. So probably trying to save a little bit of trouble for anybody else, you know? So if we could have a policy in place for the next council so that they know when they put their hand on that book, it's like I just heard the smart arse remark about onboarding. You can onboard what you like, but when you have people going out, you have council members going out talking about council members about their personal lives and dragging their name, a guy that helps them, you know, it's no good. What you need that office of the mayor to have the door open, like you said. And I guess I'll take this time because there's a guy that done that religiously, and that was Guy. When employees had trouble, they weren't afraid to go to Guy, and Guy always respected the fact that they were looked after to the best of his ability. I'm not saying skip management, but we need a safe place for an employee to go and say, hey, this is not right, and to know that they're not punished afterwards, and know their family's not going to be held accountable. That's all I ask, because I've lived this place for, this is my third term, and I've seen some people walk out of this building, belittled, and nothing thought about it, other than the next bottle of wine or drink they're going to have to talk about them. It makes me sick to know that there's still people that get away with this stuff, and while other people are being ruined mentally, and it's just not good. So if we could just have the next mayor allowed to hear. I mean, and I think that's why elected officials are there. They're closest to the community. municipal government is the closest government to the people each and every day. When I heard people talk about full-time, well, when you're at the River Cree taking some elders out for dinner on a Friday, and you get the guy from the Olive Barons asking you about Dover's motion, you're going to talk to him. It's full-time. That's what it is. But anyways, Mayor, that's why I'm bringing it forward. I think that I've seen enough. Like I know the rural communities, and when the rural communities tell me they're not getting visited, I believe them. And when I come to council, I kind of get beat up a little bit, but that's okay, because we went to Fort Chip in January. It's the first time they've seen us in a long time, and I think they had a good time. And I think we need to be more accountable to the people that elect us. And they need a safe place to come to this, especially the staff. They are to be looked after, and they're our first salesman to people that want to move here. So I think mentally we've been through enough, and I think the employees always need an office to go to that they don't feel like they're going to be let go the next day. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor McGrath. And yeah, you're right. My door is always open, so anybody needs to see me, there's no issue with that. Delegates, we have Mr. Michael Ferreira. And Michael, you know the drill. Just say your name, and you have 5 minutes to present, and just remain on topic, and remain seated for questions afterwards, please.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I just have a couple of questions today. It's Michael Ferreira. Here's a resident. I guess question one is, how is this different from like all the current things that are in place for whistleblowers? Like we're adding something more here, I guess. And the second thing is, I agree with your statements after the motion wholeheartedly. I think needs to be a safe space for people to be able to report stuff. Do we think council's the best place to report that to? Or should that be an outside entity? Because from what I see when I come to these meetings, like there's lots of little side conversations and this and that. You know, maybe reporting to somebody outside of all of what happens in this building might be safer for those people. Yeah, please.
Just wait until Michael's finished, and then if you want to have anything, Councilor McGrath.
Yeah, no, I just had the two questions, and if you could please answer, that'd be
okay. Go ahead, Councilor McGrath.
Sure, through the chair. What's different? We don't have that policy in place right now where an employee can request to meet the mayor. And I think what I did say, there's well enough people in this region, senior citizens that were industry experts that are retired. So my thought process would be not to go to Edmonton and Calgary and those places. I know he's going to not appreciate for saying it, but the old guy that tells them sick jokes all the time. Terry Lang is not going to believe this, but I'd say, even like a guy like Terry Lang is a guy like Ken Sanderson, an administration guy that's a stand-up community guy. I'm not promoting him. I'm just saying that there's two examples that people stayed here after their institutional and industrial experience. I think it should be somebody across the way that, hey, listen, Johnny don't feel he's getting treated right because of a real situation. I'm not talking about turning this into a he said, she said, but we've dealt with some very stiff situations early in our council term. And there was some validity to it. And this is why I think that after 13 years, we're still trying. So that we don't have these big surprises. We don't get told one day that a dike is going to, I just know that there's enough staff that'll come forward to trigger this request of administration, and I don't think that it's not the mayor that would, it's the mayor's door that would open up. It's not the mayor then would have the council would have an external person that's in the community say, here, can you investigate this file? Not flying people back and forth that don't know the community, because you have to have the temperature check of the community. We haven't faced our headwinds yet. But when we do, and we start tightening the belt up, which we're going to have to, you'll see this escalate. And what it'll turn into a bit of a distraction. Meanwhile, every other level of government hands over more responsibility to us. And then it's hard to keep our kids at home because they won't be able to afford to live here. So it all comes hand in hand. Mental health is a big piece of this. And I've been around enough. I've worked enough hours. We've had enough open houses that it warrants this. And certainly, if nobody bringing me problems, I got enough of my own. You know what I mean? So I think that's why we have a CEO. That's why we have a chief elected officer. That's where the buck stops. And that's where it should stop. And we have people in the community that can help us. So that's the difference. A whistleblower, as I know, like if you have a problem with anybody from staff or council, you got a whistleblower. An integrity commissioner is a totally different elephant. Is one brought on by the province, one shot down by the province, and I think right now there's about 3 challenges. Because believe it or not, they interview people that weren't even alive for the situation. So guys can, and it's tough, Michael, to sit here and assume that, I guess I take for granted that people would have some sense of knowing that after 30 years of service, you'd have some wit about you. And all we were trying to do is trying to finish up that book bag before this term is out. And to make sure that you left something a little bit behind you that you never had and I think we're after doing that. Thank you.
I agree with all your comments there, and I guess I would ask, moving further than that. So for these people that are going to be coming forward, assuming this all happens, are we going to attach to this some consequence where, if there is, I don't know, impropriety, say, or someone is actually being made a scapegoat at work, or are not treated fairly as a employee or an exempt staff or whomever. Like, are we going to follow it up with some actual real consequence? Because we're very good at bringing stuff to the table here, much like you said with this Myers-Norris Penny thing. Still 8 items, like 12 years later. Like, how's that not done in 2 years? Right. So I think maybe a good first step, but I think something maybe should be addressed there. Also saying, okay, but it's got to have some teeth.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of getting the horse ahead of the cart a little bit. So once the policy comes back, Michael, we'll see that. And in that policy, we'll have to have repercussions as well. Okay. And I don't think this is what Councilor McGrath's putting forward. I don't think it's replacing the whistleblower, just another option. So people feel safe. And honestly, people come to I get employees, everybody come to my office now. So my door is open, as Councilor McGrath said. And I do have employees coming, ex-employees coming. It's a constant thing. So I think once the policy passes and comes back, then we'll see something and see what's in that. And we can discuss that further then.
Okay, very much agree with it. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Do anybody have any other questions for the presenter? I just 1 second there, Michael. Councilor McGrath, did you have a question?
No, I just, I finally now, after a couple months, finally put your name to the Facebook stuff. Eh? So anytime you're around, I'd buy a cup of coffee and then get offline and probably give you the other side of me, you know what I mean? And I think that'd be more entertaining.
Thanks, Councilor McGrath. Councilor Grandison?
Ditto.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's more for admin. I just have a really simple question. Is this legal? I believe that we're governance and policy, and this is operational. We can't have a staff member come to a councilor member when their supervisor is cut out of the loop. I don't even think that's legal. So I just have a question whether this is even legal.
Thanks, Councilor Grandison. Caitlin?
Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Grandison, it isn't in keeping with good governance principles in general. I think you probably would have had a presentation at the beginning of your term from George Cuff, where he discussed this. The reality is that employees don't always like their boss, sometimes for legitimate reasons and sometimes for reasons that aren't legitimate. So creating a platform for those complaints to be brought continually to mayor and to council can sometimes make things very noisy for you and make it difficult for you to fulfill your governance roles for the broader municipality. Having said that, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't do this if it's something you're really insisting on doing. We do already have, through the whistleblower policy, as was mentioned, sections that deal with retaliation, for instance. So as it stands right now, if a staff member makes a complaint and alleges that their superior is retaliating against them, that complaint goes to an external party, MNP. MNP looks at it, and based on who the complaint is about, that's what dictates where they send it within the organization. So if I'm concerned that my manager is retaliating against me, that will go to the CAO. And the CAO will engage the experts, external or internal, that are necessary to look into that and investigate it. If the complaint is about somebody who is alleging the CAO is retaliating against them, then MMP does not send that complaint to the CAO. That complaint, and you've probably seen a few of them, where council has had to determine how this is going to be investigated. And in those instances, council may come to the legal department, you may not, but you will then engage external parties that can investigate that for you, that have an objective view, can come back and report to you.
So I'm wondering if part of the problem is that's not as clear as it could be, because if what you're saying, and from my understanding, is that any employee can go through the whistleblower policy if they're feeling, if it's council, it's the integrity commissioner, a separate contract altogether. So those policies are already in place, and maybe they need to be expanded or more obvious or more available to our employees. I don't know.
So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to hold those thoughts because we still have another delegate that needs to present.
I apologize, Mr. Mayor.
I do have another delegate. Yeah, I just want to, so, just 1 second. What I want to do is have the delegates come first. Once they're finished, then any debate can happen after that. Because Mr. Ferreira, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Ferreira before he heads back? Councillor Dogar, do you have a question for Mr. Ferreira?
No, not to Mr.
Thank you. Thanks, Michael. Next delegate is Mike DeRoche. And Mike, if you could just say your name for the record, and you have 5 minutes to present, and remain on topic, and remain seated for questions after, please.
I'm a little nervous coming up here today after that. My name is Michael DeRocher. I am a citizen of this area for over 28 years. I actually believe in the policies. I remember the councillors' chats and that we used to attend. I was actually surprised how well they were attended. I want to speak to this policy because I think there's a place for it, but I think we have to look at doing this in such a way that it answers Councillor Grandison's comment about the legal issues, but also deals with the reality of how much time you guys have as mayor and council, but also to the level of your individual expertises in these matters. As it was mentioned by the previous delegate and by council, there are numerous places, whistleblower, there is the Alberta Labor Standards, which have investigators, and that's for these complaints. What I personally would like to see the municipality consider and this council to consider is that when complaints are brought forward to a supervisor or whoever that person may be in the chain of command, that those complaints are forwarded to the appropriate government or agency that has the expertise, has the investigators to deal with it. Now, I'm not suggesting that they don't have the ability to talk to any one of you, but I think it needs to be handled externally and not internally. I think a lot of our problems that we currently have, wherever we have complaints like this, it's because it's handled internally, and we never know who the employees are. We don't know how they're going to be related to each other within this area, and there are complications that you never think are going to show up that suddenly show up. I think by using external forces outside of the municipality, it frees up that legality that Councillor Grandison was talking about. It actually answers Councillor Keith McGrath's position on having it looked at, and even himself has mentioned that having external forces look at this might be the way to go. I would be an advocate for that because I'd like to see it be done. It's great to have an open door policy to the mayor, but at the same time, I would hope that the mayor has a few more other pressing issues. And as mayors and councillors change, that expertise is it spinning wheels or is it not doing? I think by using external forces, you put the protection with the employees because nobody internally is dealing with it and nobody gets that information.
Thanks, Mike. Any questions for the presenter? Do you have a question, Keith?
Thank you, through the chair. Thanks, Michael. And I guess my thought process was never to sit down and try to solve the problem. But I think that any employee or contractor of the city that feels mistreated and they can't go to their immediate supervisor or manager because of retaliation, they would just simply go to the mayor's office or just make an appointment just to be heard. And from that, you pass that to the CAO and it will go externally. And is it against the law? Absolutely not. It's done in other municipalities. You see, Michael, after serving so many boards locally and provincially, a guy wouldn't bring something to council chambers that's illegal. It's actually a tool that some institutions use already. Because there has been examples where people come, and this is why I bring it forward. So I agree with you wholeheartedly what you're saying. I just want to clear up anything. It wouldn't be Bowman's, psychology service. It would be Bowman's the mayor. He's going to look after the employee, and the employee is going to get the help they need externally. Because if they fear for their job and their family, because they have something legitimate. You know what I mean? And that would be in sync with the CAO. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that exists today. Because what I see sometimes, the whistleblower is, an anonymous complaint. Sometimes they put your name in it, but I want to share your concern. It's not like, because I think our job, wholeheartedly, is to look after our elders and our children and to make sure that we have the facilities and get back to our core groups. And I think that's part of it, is to make sure that our employees always feel they have an ear, they have an eye, and they have a soul that looks after them. And they should always, last spring on Good Friday at 10 to 4, we were going to lay off 500 people. Council didn't know about that. What in the name of God were we thinking? But at 4 o'clock, it was all good again. That plays on people's mental health. And I think if somebody had to come see the mayor before then, they probably wouldn't have got that far. But all the public got is that council knew this. You know what I'm saying? So if the employees had to feel safe and come to talk to Mayor Bowman, we probably could have avoided all that mental health stuff in the city. Because we have 1,500 people, even if you only have one kid we're affecting 4,500 people and their grandparents that stayed there to watch them grow up. Just making them more friendly, you know, because there has been examples that we sometimes don't listen. You know.
Through the chair, if I may respond to Councillor McGrath. In businesses, we have very similar problems. The problem is when you report a problem to the boss, and if the boss is the boss, that's your HR department as well. Yeah. And so by going to an external force, which is what happens in most smaller businesses, Alberta Labor Standards will assign an investigator. They will talk to us and investigate it. One of the nicest things about that is they don't know us from a hole in the ground. Yeah. They don't know by insinuation, oh, I know who you're talking about, that's so-and-so. The problem is with internal forces is no matter how much we try to keep it confidential, when something comes up, most of the supervisors know their staff and who they're talking about. And that creates a problem within itself. And that's where some of these issues, because there's a roundabout with almost anything. By going on the outside force, not that it stops it, but it makes it incredibly difficult.
And that's the whole spirit of bringing this forward, because as part of AUMA and RMA, we have paid services that we pay into these associations, no different than the Alberta Catholic School Board Association. Like these people offer these services, so when the mayor needs them, we have them for that employee. You know what I mean? So it's just another vehicle to put in place, so that the city employees and contractors know they can come without repercussions.
Through the chair to Councillor McGrath, I agree. That's why I would like to see it embedded into the policy that when these complaints come forward, they're moved to the appropriate authorities immediately. So it prevents the chances of anyone internally from taking it and using it in such a fashion that is not conductive.
Yep. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and that's why I've asked administration, I'm sure, and Jody, that they craft something that comes back to council that's conducive to the spirit of the motion.
Thanks, Councilor McGrath. Councilor Dogar, do you have a question for the presenter?
Not presenter.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Now, council, if you have any questions or debate points? Councilor Dogar?
Thank you, sir. Can you listen to me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me the chance. It's a great motion. I really support it. I felt in my last 3 years there's something wrong every time. You know, I wrote 2 letters to ex-Honorable Henry Hunter that there's a discrimination, please try to solve it, and he didn't do anything. Then I wrote it again, and Jody Burts had been kind to listen to me in person, and he promised he would be trying to solve it. And there is sometimes discrimination, and we must try to do something. And every time running around external is not all that easy. It is paying a lot of dollars are required. At least the problems which I faced, and I wrote it to the council, mayor and council, every problem. And, you know, nobody called me and heard me. There was a simple, what I wanted that committee of senior councillors like Lance Bouzier and McGrath and, another man, good man like Cardinal or Stu could be made. And, I would have given my point of view, but, such like easy things are not done. We should try to make some small committees also. The councillors should be more vibrant. Thank you very much, Mayor, Mr. Mayor. As you said, your doors are open after 3.5 years. I would like to know in 3.5 years how many people have come to you. If they have not come to you, it means they were shy and, there was some barrier. People have come to me, 7-8 examples. I have it with me. They ask me not to disclose their names, and I'm ready to disclose whenever it is possible. Let Mr. Jody Burts do something. He was very kind to listened to me in detail. You know, people are so grieved that one of the men, you know, he said, I am more qualified than all those, you know, who has been brought over me. You know, no, he said, it cannot be done. I cannot be given the justice. I just want somebody listens to me and say, sorry, it is something has been wrong done to you. And, you know, at least we do not have that much of confidence or access, and there are barriers. The only example, only duty to the councillor in MGA is welfare. And welfare implies to everybody, our 1,500 people in the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo. You know, promotions and demotions, being vindictive, all these are considered in welfare. We must listen to them. That should be accessible, and even, you know, a little time given can solve many problems. Thank you. Well done, my mentor, Keith McGrath, bringing bringing a good thing. If next year I come to this place, surely I'll try to follow you instead of Lance Bouzier. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor Gogar. And yeah, for the record, the residents and employees come to my office every day. Actually, Sandy McDonald and Sam Langford were there today. Councilor Banjoko.
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. I actually see the need for the opportunity for staff to be able to report unfair treatments or where they see red flags, or even if there's a broken process or something that needs attention. My question is, this process that Councillor McGrath has brought, is it something that we've seen that has worked in any other municipality? I'm a little bit concerned how this will work in terms of, is it going to be by assignment to different councillors? I mean, you have all the experience, so is this something similar to what's obtainable in any municipality, or new or something?
So, Council, I can speak a little bit, Councilor McGrath. Councilor Joko, the way I read it, the way I see it, like, to be honest, right now, contractors email me, employees come see me, and as Mr. Frere, Mr. Drochet mentioned, has to be an external source. So what I do, say a contractor contacts me, that I ask for permission, I send it to the CAO's office, and then they'll investigate. So it always has to go beyond the mayor's office or the councilors. And I think the kind of the backdrop of this, Councilor McGrath's trying to get across, is just letting people know it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay to contact, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Councilor McGrath, but it's okay to contact the mayor, it's okay to contact the councilors, and we can forward it to the CEO your concerns.
Okay, so
or to an external sort of whistleblower or whatnot.
Okay, so this would at least be a statement that goes out to all the staff that it's okay, they're free to do that. And I think that would be good because currently we also get some comments on concerns, but maybe if the staff, if they are not aware that they can do that, with this motion, they'll be able to do that freely without any fears, right?
Absolutely, Councillor Banjanko. This is not about council or the mayor getting into the HR operations of the city. It's about, I guess it was pretty telling when I had a staff member ask me to come to City Hall that they were at wit's end because they didn't know what to do with their bonus. And after that day, I went home thinking, what could I have done differently? You know, what could I have done to save that person that grief that they carry, and probably still today? So the mental health of an institution is actually our responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, as public servants, no matter if it was a provincial body or locally, staff members have to know they're appreciated and not intimidated. I think that I've lived enough around here to know that I bring this forward just as Mayor Bowman just said, not to reinvent the wheel, but to let every staff member know, no matter if they're cleaning the floor or sitting on the 7th floor, everybody gets an equal opportunity to come to work and be treated gracefully and to go home to their family without worrying about being repercussed because they told something out of the office. And if I had it my way, there wouldn't be a wall in this place from the 1st floor to the 7th, because every office that has a door, there's someone getting talked about. But this institution needs a correctional change, and I think this will go a little ways to where we got to get.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Bowman.
Thanks, Councilor McGrath. Thanks, Councilor Bajogo. Councilor Grandison? Oh, sorry, Al.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm 1,000,000%, 1,000,000,000% in support of anything that supports our employees and makes us the #1 place to work, where people feel safe and everything else. Absolutely. I just want to make sure that we do it properly. I just want to make sure that we do it legally and we do it properly. I talk to employees, like I'm sure every other councillor on this panel talks to employees every day, and the vast majority of them are very happy that I speak to. So maybe the ones that aren't happy are talking to somebody else other than me. But for the most part, I believe in third party, because when we do it, it's biased to a certain degree. It's biased based on the organizational culture. It's biased based on the people who are involved, despite every possible effort. So sometimes a third party actually makes really good sense. But I'd also like to think we have some amazing management and supervisory personnel in this organization that work extremely well with the employees at helping them along to be successful in their job. So I'm supportive of anything that makes our employees better. I just want to make sure it's legal, that's all.
Yeah, thanks, Councilor Grandison. I think when the policy comes back, then we can take a look at it, and that'll show it there. Councilor Cardinal?
Thanks, Mayor. I like the motion. We've went through some tough objectives the last 3 years, and having legal stuff in place still doesn't deter people from doing wrong. So no matter how many legal stuff you have in place or policies we have in place, if a person doesn't feel comfortable in to come into the workplace, I just think that having somebody to reach out to, just like a friend or a council, in this case, a council member, I think it's a good idea to kind of, as McGrath would say, steer the ship straight. So I like the motion. I think it's something that's new to what it is we're used to doing, and maybe we need to go that way. And I strongly feel that there could be some influential merit to Councillor McGrath's motion. So I'm open to trying new things and hopefully seeing if they will work. But having legal stuff in place still has non-disclosure still happening. So I respect everybody's comments, McGrath and Grandison, great comments. But I just say I'm going to support the motion, and thank you, Councillor, and for bringing it forward. And not to just, yeah, that's good. Thanks.
Councillor Dogar?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you listen to me, sir?
Yeah, go ahead, Councillor Dogar.
Okay. And everything is extremely good. Mr. Grandison said something very sensible, that chain of command should never be broken. You know, where anybody goes to mayor or to councillor, first question he should ask, did you check your managers, and ultimately to CEO. The complaint should reach to mayor or to councillors only once they are in knowledge of CEO. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Councillor Dogar. Councillor McGrath, do you have any closing comments?
I sure do, Mr. Mayor. I guess after 7 terms of being elected, I know what's legal and what's not. What I put before you this evening, it is nothing to do with illegal at all, or it is actually part of my duty. And I sat in the same room, talked about 4-hour radar. By the time I was struck down, it was like I had to go out here in handcuffs. But a year later, we got rid of 4-hour radar. Are our streets any safer? Well, sure they are. We don't spend $2 million a year to have a service. We actually gain. So this song and dance about what you would expect after 30 years a fellow to know what's right and what's wrong to bring forward. So I don't hear the lawyer pipe up, but I can tell you there's nothing illegal about what I'm asking. Not at all. I'd be pretty foolish to sit in this chair to bring up something that was. But I also sat in this chair and I watched great debate, but never about what was being debated, but the diversion. So I don't want to get nobody diverted here this evening. This is totally within my parameters of being an elected official to look after the welfare of the community, which is in the MGA Act. And I surely, God, have enough experience to look in the book before I bring something to anybody here. Because Christ knows on Friday, if I step out of tune, and I mean, that's the way I am, a bit of a fence up around here. I'm just trying to make life a little bit better because I actually care about the people. I actually know the people, and I wouldn't bring it forward if I wasn't asked a dozen times to bring it forward. That's what elected officials do. They don't sing and dance and butter up to this one and that one. But Jesus, I know there's lots of people here in the city that works good jobs. There are people here work for the city for, I don't know, 35, 40 years. Mr. Sweetapple, Mr. King. I know the guys, the ladies. They actually keep me straight. You want to know what's going on with the city? What it needs? Go see the seniors at A&W on Thursdays, or go down to Legion on a Friday. Sit with the seniors. And then if that's not enough, go to schools and you know, see the kids. We're building tomorrow, today. And part of that is to make sure whoever comes through those front doors are treated the same. That's all we're trying to do. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Roth. I'll call for a vote. Online, Councillor Dogar and Councillor McGrath, or sorry, Councillor Cardinal. Thank you. And that's carried unanimous. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to item 3.4, full-time councillors. I'll ask Councillor Dogar to read out his motion, please. Councillor Dogar, I think you might be on mute. We can't hear you.
Thank you, sir. I move that the position of councillor become full-time for the incoming 2025-29 council. May I submit, Mr. Mayor?
No, it has to be seconded before you can speak to Councillor Dogar.
No, there's no need of seconded. I want to withdraw it and go for the next because I have to do some engagement with my councillors, also with my community. Also, I was struck up because of my wife's sickness in Edmonton. Now I'm in Edmonton. I couldn't do my homework properly.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
So to confirm, you're withdrawing this motion, Councillor Dogar?
Correct.
Thank you.
Withdrawn for the time being. Thank you.
So moving on to item number 3.5, Sapper Creek Trail, Highway 69 speed limit. Councillor Dogar, do you want to read that motion?
Yes.
Are you going to read it now?
Yes, I'm carrying it with
Okay,
the
thank
kind
you.
courtesy of comradeship of Funky Manjoko. No, it is not opening. And that administration work with provincial government and the raising the speed limit on Sapper Creek Trail from 80 meters per hour to 100 meters, 100 kilometers per hour. Thank you. Should I read it again?
No, we got it. Thanks for the second, Councillor Boussier. You can speak to that motion, Councillor Dogar.
You see, I have traveled number of times, right? If I say average once daily, and I see every vehicle going at a more than the prescribed speed, 90 or 100. And one day, once I noticed and put up the motion, a truck and trailer, big vehicle, was crossing me so fast that I assumed that he is at 110 speed. So why to do illegal thing? 90% of the people go more than 80 speed. Why not to legalize it? It is a double road, two-way, and there's no population on both sides. So after this intersection, Mackenzie and Highway 69, it should be 100 kilometers. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Dogar. Do we have any delegates to this item?
We have no delegates registered for this item. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question for legal. Do we have the authority to change the speed limit on that highway?
Yeah, Mayor, if I may, through the chair. Thank you again for the opportunity here. Just some points for clarification for council's awareness. The roadway we are speaking about in this motion, Councillor Dogar's motion, is Sapri Creek Trail, is under the full direction, management, and control of the municipality. So we don't have to work with the provincial government on this matter. And if you may, I'll just carry on here. After this section of roadway, after the airport turnoff, the speed limit raises to 100 kilometers an hour. So the section of roadway we are talking about here is really from Mackenzie Boulevard, or Fire Hall 5 is the landmark there, to the airport turnoff, or Saline Creek Parkway. That distance is about 4.5 kilometers. And while we have full control of the roadway, the province of Alberta has a maximum speed limit guideline of 80 kilometers an hour for roads such as this, considered to be part of the urban areas as well. Typically with the province, when traffic signals are present, as there are in this 4.5 kilometer stretch, the posted speed limits are not beyond 80. So I share that with councils for their consideration, but it is under the full control of the municipality.
Thanks, C.O. Butts. Councillor Boussier?
I think C.O. Butts might have answered it. I'm assuming to the chair, to Jody, the what's the one going to North Parsons, 686? 686, I think. I'm just, maybe admin can look into it, why it's only 60. That one's always puzzled me. I mean, you look at, and I get it. No, the one up to where the new Walmart's going, 686 on the Grand Prairie. Peace Rip, yeah. It's 60, and I guess it's provincially mandated, but I mean, if you look at probably the worst hill, and again, Abisan, that's 70. And so if maybe admin can look into that. I know it has nothing to do with Councillor Dogar's motion, but that one, I don't know why it's at 60.
Yeah, through the chair, Councillor Boussier, duly noted. Yep, and I recognize the inconsistencies as well.
Okay.
Thanks, Councillor Boussier. Councillor Grandison?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too would love the speed limit up, but just because I've driven that myself many times. But my question would be more towards, if the province has a guideline and we circumvent that guideline because we have control, and then there's an accident, do we open ourselves up for liability? That's my question.
So through the chair to Councillor Grandison, we typically, through the roads department here, Keith and his group, they have a number of individuals who are charged with making these decisions and keeping a register of speed limits, doing traffic impact assessments where it's warranted. and they follow a number of what they refer to as traffic warrants that set out the standards. So in general, when you deviate from a standard, you want to have a well thought out, reasoned approach to why you do that in order to defend yourself in the event that there's an issue. So there's always liability associated with how we maintain roads and the decisions we make around roads.
Well, I know we have a lot of liability. I understand that. That's expected. I just, with the guidelines of the province, I just wanted to make sure that if council did entertain making some changes, that we wouldn't find ourselves in a liable situation for choosing to do that, to go faster for 4 kilometers. That's all.
So through the chair to Councillor Grandison, if you were wanting to entertain doing that, the recommendation would be that you send it to administration to look into it, to review what the standards are, and to come back to you with a recommendation that's based on industry standards.
Thanks, Councillor Grandison. Councillor Dogar?
Mayor.
Sorry, it is just.
Okay, Councillor, yeah. Did you have a question? Do you have a comment, Councillor Cardinal? Go ahead.
I did. I just want to see if Councillor Dogar would be willing to take this back to administration and then have a report back to council on safety, no speed limits throughout the community.
I think
evaluation.
The CEO, Councillor Cardinal, I think the CEO just read that out. He can probably distribute that to everybody. The CEO will provide that to everyone. Councillor Dogar?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just want to submit that if we feel that there's a speed should be raised to 100, we may approve the motion and then we can write it to the province for their advice and telling that we feel it so it is in their knowledge, because everybody is doing it in the truck and trailers. They are going on. Trust me, you see, I had been driving daily every day. You know my job. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Boussier?
Yeah, thanks through the chair to CEO Butts. When did the municipality take over that road? Because I know in the 80s it was 100 kilometers back in the 80s when the old drive-in was out there.
Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Boussier. I don't have that unless I look to my colleagues. No.
It was provincial. Yeah, it might have been. I think.
Is any?
I believe it was part of the master agreement. We'd have to go back and double check that. But we can do that for when we report back to council.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Listening to the conversation, I'll also add that the road infrastructure that has been put in place, the twin, the lights, is in anticipation for development in the Saline Creek, and I would suspect that if we increase residential a neighborhood like that, having 100K go through would be quite irregular, I would say, at that point. So I just ask councils for future consideration of growth. Yeah.
Councillor Dogar?
Sorry.
Okay. Councillor Cardinal?
No, I just back to Dogar again, and just hopefully that he could reconsider pulling his motion, and then council come back. I mean, administration provide the report like CAO had said. But Mayor, I did just want to say I appreciate Councillor Dogar for bringing this motion forward, because it actually gives us an insight of how we're operating through the transport and the highways. So good motion, but I think that we need to circle back and have administration have a look at it. Dogar, thanks. Are you willing to pull your motion, Dogar?
Yes, I can pull it back and give it to administration to take the permission of the province on it. Views of that we want it. And please,
Okay,
I feel
no,
it that
either, Councilor Dogar, there's two choices here. You can amend your motion, or you can pull your motion, or we can vote on it.
thank you very much for the guidance, Mr. Mayor. I can amend the motion. And amendment is just that we recommend it to province for the reviews.
No,
But
Dogar.
the province doesn't have control of that highway. We do, as CEO Butts already stated. And that section of highway is designated for 80 kilometers an hour for that stretch of highway.
Then, Mr. Mayor, we should take some initiative. We are the government here and you are the boss of the government, and we should not be all that defensive. We should be playing 1 foot ahead. Let's have some bold decisions and then approve it. Thank you.
Okay, do you want to, we're going to either vote on your motion or you can rescind it.
Yes, please go ahead on my motion.
Okay, I'll call for a vote.
Hold on.
Sorry,
Mayor.
go ahead, Councilor Cardinal.
Yeah, hold on. Let's circle back here. Can we take a 5-minute break and have administration reach out to Councilor Dogar to make that friendly amendment, please and thank you, because we've all had some comments here, and I think that we could make it all work. So let's take 5.
But Councilor Cardinal, what Councilor Dogar asked is that to bring it back to the province, but the province doesn't have control of that highway. The municipality does.
Yeah, I know, but with the pressure that's going on and Councillor Dogar not really understanding what we're doing, I think that let's just circle back, take 5 minutes and support each other, and hopefully we can come back with a better, not a better motion, but just a better communication stream for Councillor Dogar and help him out. Because I like the idea, but I think we can reword it a little different, and then could take the.
Go ahead, Councillor Dogar.
Thank you very much. It's a good idea by the Councillor Cardinal. I understand what is in my mind. We should not be all that defensive. We should take bold decisions. And I am of the opinion that this should go. But at the same time, what all you said, you are an intelligent man, and what all you say. And I agree with it. We should take 5 minutes break. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break. We'll return back at 8 p.m. Welcome back, everyone. Councillor Dogar, do you have your amended motion? Councillor Dogar? Councillor Dogar, are you still with us?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it was a beautiful day. I went pick fungus and went for a boat ride with the elders.
Councillor Cardinal, want to put your camera on mute? We can hear your telephone call.
Oh, sorry.
Councillor Dogar?
Oh, here he comes. Guys, close the door. Close the door. I didn't realize you let yourself drive.
Hi, Councillor Dogar, if you want to read your amended motion, please.
Yes.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I'm just reading it. Sorry, I just Jade sent it. Let me see where it is. Wait a second. Yes, sorry. I got it now. Should I
Go
read
ahead.
it, sir?
Yes, please.
That administration investigate raising the speed limit on Sapri Creek Trail Highway 69 to 100 kilometers per hour and report back to council by June 24, 2025.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Dogar. So I'll call for a vote. In favor online? Oh. Okay, Heath.
I think I heard 200 kilometers there.
He said two 100 kilometers. So Councillor Cardinal's in favor, Councillor Dogar's in favor.
100 kilometers.
And that's carried 8-2. Thanks, everyone. You want to say something?
Thank you.
I didn't see the list there, Mayor against, and who's against?
Myself and Councillor Weigel, thanks.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. I believe this was the last item we had officially.
Yep.
I just wanted to say something here tonight, and it was about a week ago. Myself and my daughter Marianne went to the legislature, and I want to send out thanks to Brian Jean. He's the first politician that I've seen highlight another politician, a guy that was to me a great friend, a real pain, but a guy that never took a nickel that wasn't his. And in the heydays of Fort McMurray, he could have been that guy. Instead, he made a life of helping seniors and kids. And when I walk out in his bench right here in City Hall, and you see an old rag or a cup on it, you know, you take it off, because Brian Jean acknowledged Guy's contribution to Fort McMurray and Alberta last Monday in a very classy way. And I give Brian Jean the credit, because me and Brian have been fighting for 40 years. But he's the first politician that I've seen recognize another politician. And to look around and see Guy's family and a few old buddies that Guy, he never told, I don't think he told you, Lance. We had him for breakfast on a Thursday morning, and he died on Saturday. And I got to tell you, I took my daughter because he helped my father-in-law. Like, he was the kind of guy, but he got his recognition. And I know, Lance, good on you for bringing his name forward for the senior center, and Sandy, for you for endorsing it. But I didn't think that Brian Jean would be the guy. But you know what? Hats off to him, because if it wasn't for him, that wouldn't have happened. And he got the, I know, the King's Medal. And you can read a piece on it. But it's about the real moment I had in 30 years of public service. I've never been to a more surreal. Lance turned me off, and you know, there's one thing that I'd say, Mayor Bowman. If you have trouble with, and I suspect you will, because it's a provincial building, there's one place that'd be fitting for Guy Baudelaire. And if you remember, Leo Robert and Guy Baudelaire, Bob Campbell, Lance was a little part of it, but they took a bunch of kids to Quebec and came back winners. And that put Fort McMurray on the map. It took Upshaw, Phillips, Keka, Murphy. I forgot a few of the boys, but that Guy Baudelaire bought life everywhere he went. And he was a mayor. He was true to his people. And like I say, he never took a buck. And I just wanted to thank Brian Jean publicly. And he probably won't believe I'm thanking him publicly. But it's the nicest thing I've seen a politician do to another politician. And I've been around politicians for at least 30 years being elected. So hats off to Guy and his family. And Brian, we're not talking about your land tonight, but hats off to Brian for making that time to me, because, you know, his kid just turned, Mark, I think Mark is about 6'4", and nobody knew what Guy done for the community while he looked after his family. It was always family he looked after, and this was his family. So, thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Keith.
And before, I'm sorry I got long-winded, but if you run, I suspect you're going to run into problems with the province, because it's a provincial building, and you go through a whole bunch of red tape, and we got tormented. But you have an opportunity as something low, and you're building it right now. When I think of the twin arenas and the kids and the families, there's nobody celebrated Fort McMurray any better than Guy Baudelaire. And it's not a public notion, but I just put the thought in your head. If you have troubles with the province, what a great name for the Twin Arenas. It doesn't cost us a whole lot, wouldn't elude sponsorships, because I think anybody that knew Guy would allow his name to stand next to their sponsorship. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor McGrath. And I think there's actually an application already in on that, so that's good to see.
Okay, thank you.
And thanks for your words on Guy's memorial and his King's Medal. With that, everyone, I'll adjourn the meeting at 8:12, and we'll see you next Tuesday.